All right. Can everybody hear me okay? Wonderful. I'm so happy to get a chance to meet you guys and share a little bit. Just real quick, as she said, my name is Emily. I'm actually the Children's Services Manager here at the Pineville Library location, and I was homeschooled. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I'm really excited, actually, to get a chance to share with you guys some resources today. Some of the things I want to make sure that I have an opportunity to share with you all would be where to find more information about homeschooling requirements in North Carolina, especially for our friend that's thinking about starting with her 7-year-old. Um, in addition, really, I want to make sure that you know about all of the fantastic resources that we want to be able to offer for you to support your children's learning, your curriculum development, and your schooling every day. So my hope is that by the end of this, you'll be able to feel confident about finding programs and educational resources, different things to support you and your family in their journey as you move forward with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Libraries. And I'm going to give full disclosure too, my system is being a little slow, so please be patient with me if my computer decides to have a moment. We all know how technology goes, right? Okay. All right, so again, I just wanted to touch on this. This is actually from the Department of Administration for North Carolina. This is how they define a homeschool. And again, it's just a non-public school consisting of children of not more than one or two households, where the parents or legal guardians are the ones that are determining the sequence and scope of that school. And I'm going to say before I move on to the next slide, full disclosure, I am not with the Department of Administration. I am not with the Department of Education. I am a librarian. But I wanted to do the research and make sure that you guys felt confident about where to find this information and where to find out if answers for some of your questions. So my apologies for those who are already in this journey if I'm repeating information you already are aware of, but I'm going to be real quick and just touch on things. And I am not offended if you guys decide that you need to pop some questions into chat. I'm sure Elise will help me catch those if they do come up. All right. So where do you start? So it is different by states, but here in North Carolina, my biggest suggestion for you would be to visit the doa.nc.gov. Again, that's that Department of Administration for North Carolina. You do have to submit that notice of intent to homeschool. The nice thing about it now, though, is it's all completely online. Used to be you had to do a paper form and you faxed it in and you had to wait a really long time. Now they actually do have an online portal. And just real quick, I hope I'm not going to make anybody dizzy. I'm going to jump off and actually show you that site so you guys can see. So this is actually the initial website. If you go to visit the Department of Administration, again, it has a whole section of homeschool information. That online portal where you do submit your notice of intent is currently closed. It will not open again until July, so you can't actually submit that notification right now. But I wanted to make sure that you were able to find that information when you do need it. And you can do that all online with your email. You would need your school's information, an address, that kind of thing to get that started. The other thing I want to make sure I point out to you is that they do have a download. I'm pointing to my screen like you can see me. This part of the screen has a downloadable guidebook that really basically just summarizes every resource that they offer you on this site. It also has frequently asked questions and some different information, again, that are going to be specific to you starting your journey with homeschooling in North Carolina. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were familiar with that. And again, would be my suggestion for you to go in and to explore. Okay, oops, and I'm going to get back to our slides here. I also want to make sure that people know as they move forward that North Carolina does require you to keep those immunization records for your kids as well as attendance records, but you don't really have to submit those, but you have to keep those on file. Another point I wanted to make sure to bring up for you guys. How are we feeling about that so far? So far, so good? Okay. The other thing I wanted to make sure to just to touch on for you guys, because I think this is the part that might seem like a little more scary, at least for different homeschoolers that I've talked to in my current role, is that idea that you do have those required standardized tests. So as a homeschooler in North Carolina, you are required to offer annual exams for all of your students. That is not those end of grade exams. It's not those EOGs that the schools currently offer, but the site that I just showed you does offer you pretty exhaustive list of exams that you can choose from and find the ones that fit best for you and your family. So there are a few requirements for that exam. It does have to be a nationally standardized and recognized exam. It does have to be categorized as an achievement test. And it does have to minimally cover the subject areas of grammar, reading, spelling, and mathematics. So most of them. What it doesn't matter is when you administer it. You can do this as what fits best for your students and your schedules. And you, again, don't report those grade levels, but you do need to make sure that you keep them all on file. Um, and that is for school year, not per grade level. Because we all know, right? We're all in different kind of grade levels and kind of move around. I used to get asked all the time what grade level I is, and I always was like, give me a minute. Let me do the math. Uh, so again, I would highly suggest if this is something that you'd like to get more information on, I can either share with you that downloaded link to that handbook, excuse me, not workbook. Or again, there is a link directly that you can visit that gives you that really exhaustive list of exams that you can do. Typically, those do not need to be proctored by an outside person, but it does vary by exam. Any questions about that or anything that I need to cover with more information before we move on? And welcome if somebody just came in. Okay. All right, so that's the nitty-gritty stuff. Now we get to do the fun stuff. So this is where I get to jump in and talk to you about all of the fantastic stuff that I can offer for you here at the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. There are so many resources and so many areas to choose from that I kind of just selected a few that you may or may not be familiar with that I can go ahead and show you how to access or maybe explain more. But then at the end, I'd really like to hear from you if these are areas that you knew about before, if you weren't familiar with these resources before, or what information you would like to continue to explore, because I can definitely provide that for you.
And
Additional,
Emily, there
oh,
was one quick question in the chat, kind of going back
sure.
to your tests that somebody said you only have to keep the test and attendance for 1 year. Do you think that's true? Do you know
So
that?
technically it is only 1 year, but is strongly suggested that you keep those on file indefinitely. The other thing that you'll want to make sure to keep all of that information on file for your records, not that it'll typically be requested, but again, that's something that you may need to reference if they move on to different education sources or if they move on to higher education. Again, the suggestion is go ahead and keep it.
That's great.
Good.
Yeah, another parent, yeah, just was commenting in the chat that they recommend keeping it forever. So
Keep it forever. Yeah, yeah. And that kind of goes with those attendance records as well. I'm just going to throw that out there. Again, you don't necessarily need to keep it legally, but it's strongly encouraged and suggested to you to go ahead and keep all of those files. And again, from personal experience, I can share if you move on to different education sources, or again, if they're getting into higher education, those are going to be resources you really want to be able to access. Yeah, hope that helps.
seems like it. There's just one more thing about, do you know if somebody like if a family forgot to do it for a year, what they can do?
So that they would need to reach out to the DOA of the homeschooling department. They actually have a whole area of resource. And let me see if I can even get you that contact info. Um, it should be on their site. You would need to reach out to them to get clarification. But my understanding is that they just need to see that it was offered for an academic year. But again, they shouldn't need to see those grade levels. But that would be a great question for them. Yeah. All right. And I keep clicking on the wrong tab. There it is. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, I think that's the part that gets a little scary for everybody. But again, check out the website. They have some really great question and answer sections, and it's a pretty exhaustive list of different situations. I don't remember seeing one about having not having one submitted, but they do have a section where you can contact them directly, and I imagine that that would be a great resource for you. Okay, fun stuff. Now we get into the fun stuff. I want to just take a minute. And again, if you guys are already familiar with this, just have patience with me. But I want to make sure that you guys know, as the facilitators and educators for your homeschoolers, that you have access to a very specific type of library card account. So we have what we call a teacher loan card here at Charlotte Mecklenburg Libraries. This is going to be a separate account from your personal library card account, and you can have both. You can apply for a teacher loan card, so a homeschool educator card. You would use your homeschool registration number, which you will get for the person that's about to submit it. When you submit your notice to intent, you'll get information back from the state that will give you your homeschool registration. They do it digitally now. Hooray! So you don't have to carry around like a little piece of paper, but you'll have a registration number on that. And that is what we would need to see here at the library, along with your ID, and we could get you set up for that teacher loan card. All right, so why would you want one? Well, this teacher loan card actually gives you a guaranteed 6-week checkout time. So the thought is that you'll be able to check out those materials for your students and have them set aside for your classrooms for that 6 weeks period. Now the caveat to that is you can't renew, but again, you can renew on a personal account. This just guarantees you that time. The other difference between this account and maybe your own personal account is that because this is a teacher card, you do have to renew it every year. That's, again, just come up and see at any Charlotte Mecklenburg Library location. They'd take a look at your ID and they'd take a look at that homeschool registration. 2 seconds, you're done. I strongly suggest taking a look at this, especially if you've got multiple ages that you're checking out materials for. I think this is a great way for you to be able to check out books for yourself and use your teacher loan card to be able to check out for your students.
Another question in the chat. Somebody is sharing that they buy into our system.
Mhm.
Can they still get a homeschool card?
Unless they are registered in Mecklenburg
Um,
County, they cannot, unfortunately. But the nice thing is if you are an out of county resident and you do have that personal account, you know that once you pay for that fee, it's for everyone in your household. So all of the kiddos and you, multiple generations, whoever's in your address. And then you can make sure that when you guys have that, that it makes sure that they click that automated renewals for you. We can do that for any personal library card account. And that way, assuming no one's waiting on it, you could have it for up to 12 weeks. So it's something. It's something. Good question. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. And real quick too, if you decide you wanted to, again, Mecklenburg County, you could go in and get a what we call one access account for your homeschool students. So one access accounts is the term that we use for students' accounts. These are set automatically for those that are in CMS, but homeschoolers, you guys get the exact same benefit. So if you wanted to, you could go in and get your students this one access account. Again, you'd bring that Mecklenburg County homeschool registration, your ID, and of course have the kiddos there with you, and we can set them up for the student account. Now, why would they want it? Well, this isn't a physical library card. This is actually basically, we make them a special student number that actually is going to work for them to get onto all of the online databases, all of their research help, everything where they just need to jump on the computer and get some information. All of our encyclopedias are online, by the way. This account would give them that full access to that as well as digital materials. It does give them some limited access to print as well. You could have up to 10 books checked out. But again, I think the beauty of this account for your students is that they would have a dedicated account to use for their schooling and research. And I just want to point out too, especially for those that are out of county residents, any and all library programs, you don't have to have a library card for. So even though I want to make sure if you have access to our library resources, please don't think that that is going to stop you from attending any and all of our educational support programs here at any of the Charlotte Mecklenburg libraries. And we have so many. And I know you guys know where some of them are because you found us today, which is awesome. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to at least touch on them. We have a reading buddies, we have student support centers, we have grade level lib guides for you guys, and of course the summer break reading challenge, just to name a few. And again, I could go on and on, but I am going to touch on just a few for you guys. So real quick, these are some of the main headings for some of the programs that you'll see if you explore our events page on our website. You'll see we have some that are specifically geared for educational support. We have education, gaming, STEAM, and just real quick, again, I'm going to jump off the slides. So if anybody gets dizzy looking at stuff, look away momentarily, come back. I want to make sure to show you when you're on that when you're on the events page, you can put in a keyword at that top level. You could put in art, you could put in gaming. I just threw in homeschool because I wanted to make sure that you saw we do have homeschool tagged programs throughout the system. So of course, Imagine is a huge one. They do these homeschool rallies. These are so much fun. These are bi-monthly programs specifically for homeschoolers around the area. We have groups that come from South Carolina, from Upton. These are really fun and interactive events. And then there's so much more. Of course, there's ours today. There's different gaming programs. We have Rookie Science here. Again, this counts as a homeschool program simply because of the time. We tried to make it more convenient for some of our homeschool families. But please get on there and explore. And of course, you can narrow down those fields. Again, don't get dizzy. I'm scrolling. Here we go. Up at the top, if you wanted to change by dates or locations. Does everybody feel good about finding programs? Any questions about that before I jump off? I figured that one, seeing as how you found us, you guys were probably good. Okay. The next thing I want to make sure that I get a chance to show you guys is what you can find if you start to dig a little deeper through our website and try to find some different resources for you guys. So we do have, and under our services tab, we have children's and teens and adults. I know we have a few on here that have some teenagers, so don't worry, I'm not going to leave them out. But I want to make sure that I share with you how to kind of get started exploring some of these resources that we have for you. So if you click onto our children's services page, this is what you will see is these different options. Children's programs will take you to that events page again. You can see we have a student supporting student success, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute. We have information about specialized programs like our Get Set for K and some reference collections. But this is a great kind of landing page for you to start looking at some of our resources. And I'm going to show you that on the website too. Not that one. Okay. So again, this is what it's going to look like when you click on that children's services, and I'm going to be scrolling. You'll get information about some of our early literacy. We have active reading programs and Read to Me Charlotte. These are fantastic options, especially for those of you that have those younger ages that are going to be coming up. These talk about the ABCs of reading with your child, early literacy tips, tools and tricks for you as you are going with your children through their early literacy and their literacy development as they get older. I strongly suggest you check those out. Additionally, if we keep going down, you'll see options to go to supporting student success, those Epic Fest and those program ones. Some of the programs that I think you guys would really be excited about, and I want to make sure that I plug, would be our summer break, summer reading programs. Has anybody here done the summer reading programs before? Because you do know it's for all ages and you guys get prizes too, right? Oh, I haven't seen hands yet. I hope you knew that this was happening. All right, I've got a very short little video, which may or may not work. We're going to see, that just does a little introduction to summer break for you guys. And hopefully you guys will have some sound. Let's see.
Take the Summer Break Challenge with Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. Read, create, play, write, explore, and give. Summer break is June 1st through July 31st, and everyone is welcome. Help us meet our community goal of reading 10 million minutes. Sign up for the challenge today at cmlibrary.beanstack.org. Track your reading time and activities, collect virtual badges, and earn prizes. Summer break with Charlotte Mecklenburg Library.
See, I told you it was short. This is a really fun reading program. We do this every summer. This is for all ages. It's specifically through June to the end of July, and it's a great way to get them to track some of their reading and really kind of keep exploring that for pleasure reading, right? I mean, that's a big part of what I personally loved in my homeschool journey was that freedom that I had to really explore in my reading. And I got a chance to really kind of move in directions that were really interesting and exciting to me as a student. Um, I don't know if your kids are in that same area, but programs like this really kind of motivated me to continue to explore and continue to read and kind of get out there and find out what I wanted to read that was fun for me. So I would strongly encourage you guys to check this out. I think your kiddos would really enjoy it. All right. The other thing I want to make sure I highlight for you, so we have a new program. I don't know if you guys have already heard about this or not, but we have student support centers. This is a new program that is happening at limited locations through the library. These programs are drop-in sessions that are for that K through 5th students to get some additional homework help. So there are specific locations and they do follow academic calendars. So these are typically not offered through the summer, but they will be coming back in the fall. These student support centers, again, at the various libraries will have volunteers in there to kind of just jump in with your student. So let's say it's time for you guys to get out of the house for a little while and get into a different learning environment. This could be a great option for you. They bring in what they want to work on. They work on it with that volunteer. We have different resources available for them in that room, physical resources like flashcards, pencils, paper, fun things like that. But also, we can also assist them with some digital resources as well. So one of the options that you guys have at the Student Support Center or at home is tutor.com. This is one of our online database resources that I wanted to make sure to highlight for you guys because this is a really great kind of outside option for some additional assistance or curriculum support. So you guys have access to this either with your personal library cards, or maybe you get those one access student accounts for your homeschoolers, or maybe they come to a student support center and we help them get logged on. But tutor.com offers that K through 12 student support where they can actually go on and get either tutoring help, they can get essay reviews, they can pose questions, they can do exams. And this is also available in English and Spanish. They have English and Spanish tutors available daily from 3 to 11 p.m. So again, if they wanted some sort of additional educational support, this could be a good option for you. And let me show you, this is what that actual website will look like. So you would log in first with either your library card or that student ID and your PIN, and then you would be able to explore. Now mine is geared for a little older because this is my login, but again, if you logged in with one of your students' account, they would see material that would actually be tailored a little bit more to that age group. All right, and I'm not doing too bad on time. There's so many fun resources and databases. I could literally spend 2 hours and I would not go over all of them for you. So I'm just going to highlight two. Don't worry, I'm really not going 2 hours. I want to make sure that you're aware that we have access to what's called NC Kids. This is a digital library that you, again, have free access to. These are online materials. There are ebooks, audiobooks, streaming videos, read-alongs. This collection, though, was specifically designed for that pre-K through 4th grade age range. They include fiction, nonfiction, picture books, This is one that I use fairly regularly here at the library for our families. But then also I use it in my personal life quite a good bit as well. When I'm sharing with my children and my godchildren, we jump on and we look through these materials. They have a lot of very popular titles that you may or may not be able to grab off my shelf right away, as well as some great nonfiction that is really engaging. And we use it a lot for reading buddies here at the library. So I'd suggest you take a look. And that is accessible through that Children's Services link, and I can show you where to find that here in just a minute. Again, additionally, I just want to make sure you knew we have other resources that are not just reading. We also have science, we have math help, etc. So Pebble Go Science is one that I, again, particularly like. This one focuses on physical and life and earth sciences. I like this one because it has videos and articles. And it's also available in Spanish. The interface is, I think, fairly easy to navigate, and it's kind of like kid friendly. It looks pretty cool when you click on it. And again, this is something that you guys could access at home or here in the library for your kiddos. I actually am going to show you real quick. If you go into the student support area, you'll be able to find different options for different age ranges. I'm about to get into teens, so I wanted to make sure you saw that. Again, this is basically covering that same information we just went over in some of the slides. It's talking about our One Access stuff. And I want to make sure to show you. There's the summer reading. We just talked about that. Library resources by grade level. Okay, this is the part where you look at me and go, Emily, we don't care about grade levels, right? This is why I want to show you this, though. Not so much that we're going to be concerned about following which grade level is where, but because library staff have worked really hard to create these LibGuides for you guys that have some fantastic resources in it. Okay, so don't judge me too quickly. Take a look first. So they have these for different grade levels and information. These go through K through 5th. These were actually curated by staff. We started these during COVID, and we've basically been continuing to build on them since then. But when you would click on one, this is what you're going to see. So this is a specially curated LibGuide. It has information about first grade, because that's the one I clicked on. We have first grade skills. Again, these are geared towards modules that would typically be found in the public schools. Don't stress about that, but the details on it are fantastic. The learning goals are fantastic. And when you click on one, you get this curated reading list. I know. There are ebooks and physical books available in this. They are geared towards whatever those topics were that were part of that learning module. If you're one of the people that are big on Lexile levels, they have it here. If you want to take a look at some of those library databases, hey, look, Pebble Go right there, right? Easy and quick for you guys to access. NC Kids, Tumble Books, Overdrive, etc. So again, do we care about the modules quite as much? Meh. But are the resources fantastic? Yes. And I would strongly encourage you to kind of take a look and explore. All right. So that was all I wanted to make sure I saw on that one. Now this is the part where you're like, okay, but my kid's a teenager. What am I doing for that? I haven't left you out. We have some fantastic stuff for teen services. So one of the make sure I wanted to highlight for you guys was their roadmap to success. So for teen services, you have the same teen services programs. You've got art, you've got gaming, so many fantastic things. But what I want to make sure you know about is their college and career connections programs. So these programs vary from one-on-one support for your student, whether it's how to do a college essay, how to do a mock interview, where would I find information about financial aid, all of that. But additionally, they have what they call a roadmap to success. This is basically just like a guideline of things for your teen to start thinking about whether they're moving on to higher education or to a career. And then it highlights what resources we can offer to be able to help them. They also partner with a lot of fantastic organizations like the SAT Prep and Princeton Review to offer exam prep, specialized practice exams, hints and tricks, all sorts of great things specifically for your teens, whether or not they're going on again to that higher education or into the job field. This is really just a way to build their confidence and show them what resources they have that are available for them. There is a handbook as well that you can find on the Teen Services page, and I can make sure in the email afterwards to you guys to send you that link directly. I could go on more about Teen Services, but I know I'm running short on time. Do we have any questions about that before I move on? Because I know we had at least 2 or 3 teen kiddos.
And could you share a little bit about, there's a challenge too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there is. So that fun little idea of like our reading break challenge, teens have one that they get to do all year round. It's all right. Children's Service is a little jealous, but it's fine. So there is a way through an app called Beanstack, which is again that same one we use for summer reading, where they can do a roadmap to success challenge. And as a matter of fact, let me pull that up for you. So again, through Teen Services, and if you go through College and Career Connections, there is a way for them to actually register for this challenge. And basically, this is giving them those additional prompts to continue to explore those resources and really kind of connect them with what they're doing. Again, Teen Services has a downloadable checklist for them. This is things like getting lists of schools together, getting started on your resume if you're going towards that career field. Again, just points that are quick, easy and accessible, and hopefully something that will be exciting to your teen and want them to continue to explore. What else? Anything else? Okay. All right, we're almost there. I'm keeping an eye on time for you guys. Real quick, I want to make sure to let you guys know about our digital branch. I think this is another one of those resources that personally I tend to forget about, so I want to make sure I highlight it for you. So our digital branch is open 24/7. This is something, again, through our website. You just type in digital branch, it will pop right up for you. But the reason I want to highlight it for you is that the digital branch actually is a housing place for a lot of our online programs and resources. Again, during COVID, remember, we were all online. So we took all of those programs and we have them readily available for you. These are rookie science activities. These are art projects. These are drama games. These are reading recommendations and book lists. And this, again, is going to be for all ages, although full disclosure, I did highlight our children's librarian here with Gross and Giggles, which is a pre-K program, but I promise you there is a wealth of information on that digital branch that would be exciting for your 16-year-old as well. And last but not least, I wanted to again remind you guys about our story walk programs. So these are at different parks, and you'll see the listing here all around Charlotte. These are kind of exactly what they sound like. These are actually walks that you can take around these parks and enjoy the story at the same time. So I don't know about you guys, but I know every once in a while for me, I would have to get up and move and walk around during my school days. So this could be a really fun option for the whole family to get out together, take that little break from their work inside and go on that story walk and enjoy that story together. There's also active reading tips along with those stories, and usually a little survey at the end too, where the kids can fill stuff out and they may win a prize. This information is also available under that Children's Services page that I showed you originally, and I'll make sure that you guys have links as well. And in our branches, most of us typically have brochures that we could physically give you. And I could keep on going, but I won't do it to you guys. I just get so excited being able to share all of this information with you. Thank you for letting me kind of go over some of the highlights and high level stuff. I want to hear from you guys now. What questions do you have for me?